folks say universities move glacially. I say, look at Notre Dame. We move fast.
From the campus of Our Lady's University, this is For Good, Stories from Notre Dame, a behind-the-scenes glimpse into life under the Golden Dome and the powerful stories that drive Notre Dame to become a force for good in the world. Hello and welcome to For Good, Stories from Notre Dame. Today, I am at our research facility, McCourtney Hall, joined by Nitesh Chawla, the Frank M. Freimann Professor of Computer Science and Engineering, and the founding director of the Lucy Family Institute for Data and Society, sponsored by a significant gift from the wonderful Bob and Sarah Lumpkins. Nitesh is an expert on artificial intelligence and data science, topics that we're hearing about a lot these days. On today's episode, we will be discussing how technology can advance the common good through interdisciplinary research and how Notre Dame strives to become a leading force for good in these increasingly important fields. Nitesh, thanks so much for joining us today and being part of this interview with so many people who are interested in learning more about this subject. Now, I've had the privilege of knowing you both through work, and our kids go to the same school, so on a more personal level. And while I have the tremendous respect for you for the extraordinary scholar and researcher and teacher that you are, I also know you to be an incredible, exemplary leader and an entrepreneur and one of the kindest, nicest, and warmest individuals I know at the university. So I'm really excited to talk with you today. Start out by maybe sharing with us a little bit about your family, your background, your history.
Thank you, again. Thank you again for hosting me as part of this For Good series. It's a delight and an honor. Thank you. And especially to have this conversation with you is absolutely delightful. And thank you for the kind words you said. Whenever it's out, I'm going to make my kids see it that, hey, because they feel I'm quite a lousy character at home. So maybe it'll be good for something now. Yeah. But thank you. So I grew up in India, did my undergrad in New Delhi, and then moved to Bombay, Mumbai it is now. Yeah. And then did my undergraduate in computer science and engineering. Yeah. And in 97, when I finished my undergraduate, decided to apply for grad school. And at that time, fuzzy logic was a thing, right? And I was like, I didn't know what, but it just sounded really cool. So I decided I would go study fuzzy logic with...
Okay, wait a second. So I'm still in the stage of it sounding really cool. Right. What is fuzzy logic?
If I had figured out, my PhD would have been on fuzzy logic. I'm still fuzzy about it myself. Essentially, it was a wave of AI at that time. Where we are sitting in, the washing machines and sensors and etc. Fuzzy logic was going to transform automation and machining and things like that. The person I wanted to work with was Larry Hall, who became an advisor. And he was the president of North America Fuzzy Society. So I figured, so that took me to University of South Florida. So I applied to go there as a master's student.
Yeah.
And just to give you a little side bit how, I often call myself a second chance guy, Lou. Applied for my visa the first time to come to the US. Got rejected for no reason. My dad said 3 days later, just go again.
Yeah.
Took the same paperwork, got accepted. Arrived at the university the day the classes started.
Wow.
And so it was quite interesting.
Was this your first time to the United States?
First time to the United States. Wow. The day of, got dropped at somebody's house, stayed, got the schedules, went to my advisor and said, here I am. He said, you are late. I'm like, yeah, but here I am. Let's register. And then during that time, as I was finishing up my master's, I fell in love with the idea of research and inquiry. I was here for my master's and I switched to a PhD program, which was quite contrarian approach at that time. It was 1999. The tech economy was booming. A lot of students who came for their PhDs went to work in tech industry. And I said, now I'm going to do my PhD. So did that. And then I went into banking after my PhD at doing machine learning at a bank. Spent a few years there. But there was this lure of, there was this academic romance that I felt I was missing.
Yeah.
And I knew Kevin Boyer at that time, who was the department chair of computer science. Said, can I just come for a year? So my wife, Anita, whom you know, Anita and I, we decided, let's just do it, because she said that, hey,
Where are you living at this point?
we were in Toronto.
In Toronto. Okay.
And we were looking for a more exciting city than Toronto. So we said, let's go to South Bend.
Exactly.
You know, where else would you go? Coming from Bombay to Toronto. And it was
It's a natural progression.
It's a natural progression, right? And from tropical to cold to colder.
Right, right.
It's the right thing to do. So we came to Notre Dame. It was a 1-year visa I had to come to study to come to work at Notre Dame as a research assistant professor. It was again a big chance. If things didn't work out, I quit my job at making good money at the bank.
Yeah.
To take this chance, I wouldn't know what to do.
Wow.
So again, that was the second chance. Like I said, I'm the second chance guy, and that's the theme of my life. I guess I don't give up. I'm just too resilient. I'm just too stupid. I just keep pursuing my romance with things. So then we basically spent a year, and then I went on the interview circuit. Notre Dame interviewed me for tenure track after my 1 year of research faculty to become a tenure track faculty. Interviewed at other places. Notre Dame made me the offer, and the others made me an offer. I had been at this place for a year. Mm-hmm. And the romantic pursuit that brought me to academia, that, the joy where, it's every day there is a feeling of being here.
Right.
That had grown on me. That Notre Dame experience had grown on me. And I remember going to the grotto and just sitting there and thinking, what should I do? Reflecting. And it was that utmost clarity that this is the place I can be. It aligns with me mentally. It aligns with me at my heart.
Yeah.
And what could be better to have a vocation?
Yeah.
It's not a job. It's a place where you're excited about. So we started my tenure track journey in 2007. And then our son Ahan, whom you know as well, was born in 2007.
Yeah.
And now he's a 16-and-a-half-year-old boy, and he goes to La Lumiere. He's a junior in high school. And then our daughter, Naisha, was born in 2012. And she's a 6th grader at Stanley Clark as well. Yeah. And we've been here. So in my tenure track journey, I've been here for 17 years. Wow. So I'm super grateful to be doing this. And then, even when we started our research program here, shifted a bit to networks and healthcare using AI, which was a dramatic shift from what my training was. And I'm a fundamental foundational AI machine learning person. Yeah. But as I said, I'm a second chance guy. So I'm going to do things which are, let's take a chance. And I told Kevin, and Peter Gilpatrick was the dean then, hey, if it doesn't work out, I'll go and make more money in the bank.
Yeah.
But I'm here to explore. I'm here for the sense of inquiry, purpose. And that's what we're going to do here.
17 years later, as a second chance guy, you are one of our most decorated faculty members. I mean, you've won more awards, more different areas of kind of recognition. Let me just highlight a few. In 2022, you're elected a fellow of the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. In 2023, you become a fellow of the Association of Computing Machinery, ACM, only the second ACM member on the Notre Dame faculty in history. And in January of this year, last month, you are elected to become a fellow in the Association for the Advancement of Artificial Intelligence, the AAAI Association, which I understand is an incredibly rare and distinct honor. So tell us a little bit about what these awards and recognitions in these different fields, I know they're related, what do they mean to Notre Dame? What do they mean to you? What do they mean in the broader network out there?
So I think first, I'm grateful to the nominate. It takes a village to get here. One is, you're doing great work.
Yeah.
Second is being recognized. And third is someone caring for you and your work enough to say, hey, we'll put 3 or 4 other fellows put together to write your nomination to support you. So I'm super, super grateful to all of them who have supported this process for me. And each of these honors essentially identifies whether these are major associations, organizations that govern us within engineering. Association of Computing Machinery is more for computer scientists or computer engineers.
Right.
And AAAI is more for AI scholars and researchers. And they sort of recognize both the foundational work that I've done over the years, as well as the interdisciplinary work that I've done in the years that has impacted society in many ways.
Yeah.
And the citations say such.
Right.
So this is a good thing that these the review committees at these places have put recognition on that. And AAA is really special because, not just at Notre Dame, in the state of Indiana, I'm the first one to be recognized. And it's something that what our mission says, and in the interview with John McGreevy, that same episode you did with him, he talked about, us being a leading global Catholic university at par, but distinct with the world's best universities.
Right.
So these kind of honors in many ways are telling the other universities who are being a force to reckon with in AI or computing that, hey, we are at par. We share those recognition, our faculty share those recognition. And in many ways, it allows us to attract because it's a recognition of the work I've done at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
It's a career that I've built at Notre Dame.
Right.
It is a symbol of that possibilities that we share with each other.
Right.
And others that we want to join our family here. So that's what I celebrate.
So you're incredibly humble and it's a great way to speak about it as a team accomplishment and a great mark for the university, all of which is true. I know that with these honors, you've had opportunities. Other top institutions, universities and private sector industries have tried to recruit you away over the years. The last 17 years as a tenured faculty member, what has kept you here at Notre Dame? Because that's not insignificant that you have chosen to pass on other offers and stay here. Why?
I think, Lou, as I said, when I first interviewed here in 2007, for my tenure track position, and the reflection I had as to how this place spoke to me. And I would reckon I'm not a Catholic, but the mission of the university as a Catholic university, it's very near and dear. It's essentially, and even if you think about, and I think let's not go back too far as well as to the founding of the university, etc. But recently when, yourself and the other officers of the university were with Pope Francis, and he talked about, and I read the document. I didn't have the privilege of joining you folks, but I read what he talked about. He talked about the heart, the head, and the hands. Yeah. Right. So if this is, as a Catholic university, we think about, and there's something else he said is, we think what we feel and do, we feel what we think and do, and we do what we think and feel. Mm-hmm. And this is, if we want to be amazing scholars, we want to do amazing scholarship, and we want to use our head, right? Yeah. The interdisciplinary, be open, be altruistic, be inclusive in our thinking, have that pursuit of scholarship. Yes, we can do it at other universities. Right. But then to say, as a Catholic university, we want to have the cross-disciplinary approach. Yeah. That is distinct. Right. Going back to what even John McGreevy said in your episode here, as a mission of the university. Then if you think about our engagement with our students, we are gifted with the quality of students we have. And, I look at them and I go, they come with an open mind. They want to engage. It's just a different category of students. So how do we engage with them? How do we open up our hearts to our colleagues and our students? And then finally, what he talks about is, and that's been very true to my work, how do we take the innovations that we do and translate them to the betterment of society using our hands? Right. Which other place? I mean, universities are public good enterprises, right? I mean, if you go back, even the National Science Foundation, when Vannevar Bush in 1945 wrote a report to Truman, which led to forming of NSF, said, public good science for serving society, right? Yeah. That's what universities are public good. But at Notre Dame, we think about not only creating the future, which as universities we are amazing at, we also think about the future. Mm-hmm. And especially where we find ourselves with the technological revolutions and everything else, it's important to think like that. Yeah. And going back to our mission, right? It is a complex mission in the sense that We want to be a global Catholic leading university that at par or distinct from other leading universities.
Right.
So if you sort of break it down, we're going to do great scholarship that makes us at par with the world's leading universities.
Right.
But at the same time, we'll abide by a Catholic mission.
Right.
That means we have to do good for the society.
That's right.
And these are the factors that this is the platform. Where else would you be if you want to do this?
I'd love to say that, we're really blessed as a university because we have this mission in our founding DNA.
Yeah.
Right? Father Soren said, not only are we going to become one of the great universities in the land, but more importantly, one of the most powerful means for good in all of society. Hence the For Good stories, the theme that comes right from our DNA. This isn't something that we have conceived of in the last 10 or 20 years as a priority for the university. It began as a part of the vision from day one in 1842. And we have to ask ourselves every day questions like, if 7% of the world's population has a college degree, how are we making ourselves relevant to the other 93%? And you, through your work, are making that difference. And we're going to get more into that. But let me ask you this first, is when you came here 17, 18 years ago, and you look at where Notre Dame was as a university in engineering and technology and artificial intelligence, what have you seen? What kind of growth have you seen over those 17, 18 years?
I think it's been an exponential growth. It's been a fascinating growth. And to have played a small role or maybe an observer role to it has been exciting. As a faculty in computer science and engineering, right? There was data science, data mining was the buzzword. Then I was the only faculty, created a first class on data mining, data science at Notre Dame. 6 students signed up for it.
Wow.
5 of them became my PhD students. 3 of them became the first founding employees of analytics when we founded it. Wow. So it's a great connection. And now we have about a dozen faculty within my department doing this. And ACMS faculty and all over the university, within business school, I taught. We have really invested into AI, data science, analytics, and each one is bringing a different perspective. Tom Burrish and Bob Bernard had started around that time as well. Peter Kilpatrick was the dean, and everyone started around the same time. And I think the university leadership, Father John was very clear about where we need to go. And I think he's really set us on an amazing trajectory in leadership from that perspective. There was a commitment that we will build the infrastructure. We will create initiatives like advancing our vision.
Right.
Through that initiative, we'll recruit top faculty. We'll invest in interdisciplinarity on campus. We'll invest in these research.
Yeah.
And we are seeing the fruits of that. We are AAU member, our recognition, the honors that our faculty are receiving, the students that, graduate students where we are able to recruit, how attractive we have become. So it's been amazing.
Yeah.
Right? In the last 17 years, if we just reflect on where we were and where we are.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Folks say universities move glacially. I say, look at Notre Dame. We move fast.
Yeah, it's funny because it makes me think about, I was speaking a few years back with an Ivy League president who was saying to me that our reputation is actually better than our reality. We're living off of things that we had achieved 20, 30 years ago, and reputationally we're stronger than our reality. And it made me think right away that Notre Dame is just the opposite. Our reality is better than our reputation. Reputation's always going to lag. And the work that you're doing now and the advancements that we're making.
That's also the Catholic humility that makes our reality better than our reputation.
Maybe it's true as well. That's like anything, it cuts both ways, but better to be humble than not, for sure. So before we go any further, tell us about this concept of AI, artificial intelligence. What does it really mean?
Lou, that's a great question. And, I teach a class on AI and society, or artificial intelligence and society. And I was struggling to find a definition that we as a community could agree to. Different books have different things because it's different disciplines of thoughts. But the way I look at it is, can we embody machines with algorithm software that can learn from data and think about the data is the sensing, the cameras, the speech, the audio, the speech, the text, everything that we as humans learn from when we see, sense, and we take you and you put us humans anywhere in the world which we haven't seen before, but we could quickly get there. Could we embody such kind of a data and into have the data flow into machines, have the algorithms learn from the data, and then be able to take decisions, take actions in situations, scenarios that they haven't seen before. So that's what we do when we study for our exams, right? We learn from our books, we go, there's a test that comes, we answer. Imagine our machine is doing it.
Right.
Takes all the data we can, the computer software learns something, or the program or the algorithms, and they answer things.
So it's a combination of machine learning,
data processing, exactly.
All of that together.
All of that together.
And so there's a lot of fear and misconceptions around artificial intelligence. And there may be some people looking right now that are fearful that robots are going to, going to take over the world and are going to displace their children and grandchildren from the workforce in different positions. How would you define AI? And how do you perceive it to be not only inevitable, but a force for good?
So ideally, artificial intelligence is an embodiment of, the way we humans may, ideal situation would be think, reason, see, sense, perceive, and act. Are we there yet? No, right? But have we made significant advances to sort of build these machines who can sense, whether it's through cameras or sensors or mics and what have you? We can capture sight, sounds, and etc. We can process them. Language is amazing, and language has been an amazing discovery for us as a race as well, right? As human beings, or as any within the animal kingdom.
Yeah.
Now these machines have this sense of language that we are seeing with generative AI, large language models. It's a language that we are able to create and process with. So it's exciting, and I think while we all are, everyone is sort of, double down on AI for the private sector, public sector, everyone is excited about it, and rightfully so. But yet there has to be that concern associated.
Right.
The reason I'm saying is that because I'm not a pessimist person, but I'm very optimistic about these things. But so we do it right.
Yeah.
Right. The last 45 years of science and advances since, a lot of challenges that we see today, as we think about basic foundational scientific advances, have also contributed to some of those challenges, whether we think of social media, from my technology side of things, or other things within climate change, etc. Now with AI, we have an opportunity to reflect on the past and go, let's think about the guardrails that might be necessary, not to stem innovation, but to think about the negative impact it may have at a much faster click than anything else we have seen, because now everybody is glued to the digital things.
So tell me, 10 to 20 years from now, what does an AI-enabled society look like? What would be some things that we will see then that we don't even imagine today?
And AI Lou having a conversation with AI Nitesh. Wow.
So avatars.
Avatars. I mean, we could be. But I think it's the 10, 20 years, everything is going to be, I believe, would be in a disruptive phase. We are already seeing how it's disrupted the technology sector, where programming was a skill once that I took great pride in. I'm a good computer programmer. Now there's a machine that can help you get to most of those abstractions. We are seeing that with automation. We are seeing that with medical care, medical delivery. A lot of industries are ready to be disrupted.
Right.
It's a revolution that's almost like another industrial technological revolution that's happening, but at a much faster click.
So it's already starting to happen that we have celebrities and politicians that through AI generated devices, they will put out in social media things that they didn't say, or photos of them that are AI generated and weren't real. how are we going to govern, and how is the Lucy Family Institute thinking about the ethical concerns around an AI-enabled society?
Thank you, Lou. Again, another great question, because the future depends on, well, I'm excited, but I'm also worried. But the worry stems from, what do we do today, right? So because we know where these technologies can go, we are seeing the writing on the wall. But the question is, the future we want to create or the future we want to be a part of? That depends on us today. These are the hard questions on how do we do it right? How do we bring in societal input? How do we make these inclusive? How do we bring in folks who don't have access today? How do we bring in low resource communities, low resource languages into this framing and thinking? How do we have a more representation on the table, that it's not just a domain of some larger enterprises? This is the dialogue that the Lucy Family Institute is absolutely leading through its partnerships in the US, globally, Latin America, Africa, Asia, Europe. I mean, we are doing a project on Slavic languages with Ukraine and Poland with NSF support. We're doing it in Vietnam. We're doing it in most of Latin American countries. Yeah. We are present.
So it seems to me that it's the marriage of cutting edge technology, AI in this case, with an ethical perspective. But if your work, your technology is not cutting edge, then you don't have a seat at the table. Nobody cares about your ethical perspective.
If you don't
so it's the marriage of both.
It is a marriage of both.
Yeah.
And it is the platform, going back to, Notre Dame's why here. It is the platform. Like Notre Dame can today say that, all right, we create cutting edge technologies.
Yeah.
You said earlier, reality versus reputation. Our reality says we are creating cutting edge technologies. Our reality also says we think deeply about these issues.
Right.
And how do we sort of bring those factors together?
Yeah.
Otherwise, Lou, it is going to be a complex future. We are already seeing what's real versus fake. Democracies would be challenged.
Yeah.
Divide would increase. Certain powers would conglomerate these issues. The United States has to lead in this dialogue.
A corollary for me is that, when we went into this global pandemic, a lot of universities had medical schools. The medical community only looked at the pandemic from a medicinal perspective, and they disregarded the mental health ramifications. Yeah. And so, they brought up very stringent rules about the spread of the vaccine, some of which worked and some of which apparently didn't. But it led to tremendous isolation and estrangement, and a lot of college campuses saw their suicide rate soar and a lot of stress. When you think about AI and you think about the ethical perspective, is Notre Dame have a unique role to play to say, let's look at the broader ramifications? Is that happening everywhere? Is it something that...
I think it is happening at places, and Notre Dame, I believe, should lead it from the front, right? As we think about AI, as we think about, AI for societal impact, which is, in the DNA of the Lucy Family Institute for Data and Society, as well as we think about these things. And it is important for us to be deliberative about uses of technology. It is pertinent for us to think about, from a very interdisciplinary perspective, are the technologies we are producing, are they even inclusive? Mm-hmm. Right? As you rightly pointed out, there's goods and bads, the negative effects that we discover later, and we are in a course correction mode.
Right.
Do we have to be in a course correction mode later, or can we do something right? And it's not just about the ethical considerations of it. It's awareness of the risks. We do that with our vaccines and medicines. There's an ad that comes out that says, this is good for you. But then there's a fast talker person who says, blah, 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 all the side effects, right? But we still accept it.
Yeah.
Because the theory of beneficence says it's generally good.
Yeah.
Some may be, but it's good.
Right.
Could we have a theory of beneficence for AI? That AI is good These are some, and I need you to be aware. We don't have that, right?
Right.
You have that for other scientific inventions that affect the human life.
Right.
AI is affecting human life.
Yeah.
We must create it, and universities are uniquely positioned.
Yeah.
Notre Dame is, I think, if not Notre Dame, then whom? Right? Going back to what Father Soyan said when during the founding of a university. And the second aspect, I believe, is inclusion, where, as we think about a global Catholic university, the global South doesn't have a voice in it, Lou.
Right.
We've spent time in Chile, Colombia, Brazil, Mexico, Africa for our research projects. And it concerns me that the wealth of language these machines are learning from are languages or cultural nuances that come from the web or the internet that's largely populated by our content.
Right.
How do we make them have a seat on the table?
Right.
And how do we think about democracy of AI, not the divide it will cause more? So these are the things that we absolutely do need to think about. And again, if we align ourselves to our mission, that's the call.
Give us some examples of AI. We talk about it all the time in the abstract, but when you think about what are some ways that already, and we know that AI is the future impact is going to far outweigh even the surface that we have scratched at the present. But what are some examples that AI has already radicalized life and made it better?
So AI has, if you think about within the field of medicine we were talking about, AI has radicalized telehealth delivery, assessment, etc. AI has the potential to radicalize personalized education to individuals from that perspective.
Give us some examples. How was it radicalized?
So health is, let's say that it's the point of time delivery. So if you're capturing my data, AI is essentially data driven. So let's say if you have information about my variables and everything else, and then I'm in a rural place.
So like wearing this it tells me everything
I know about you, and combine that with your medical record. And now if I can combine that with your social determinants of health, I can have a personalized Lou model that, this is what Lou needs for this. And then as well, which may sound creepy, that is a personalized thing for all things health.
No, but I look every morning, I'm looking at my heart rate variability, HRV, which I didn't even know existed, 4 months ago. And it's, I'm looking to see was my number high enough. And all this,
So I think so. So those are the exact examples of how AI could be applied for. Some other work that we are doing AI as well as within the institutes my colleagues are doing is AI for sustainable agriculture. Like, could we gather the evidence from all over to define what should be, if somebody needs to make an investment, this is by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, where they should be putting their dollar in. Right. What does the latest scientific evidence tell us? We can think about AI for chemical. We have a big NSF center on chemical synthesis. Behind us, we see all the molecules and etc. Could we accelerate discovery of this molecule using AI, using all the data that we have, such that the next drug gets to you faster and cheaper? Can we reduce the cost of manufacturing of that next drug? Can we think about future of work with automation and everything else? So there is, this is an amazing AI time to be in. Right.
We bought an AI program, I believe, for these episodes, and it was for very cheaply. We're able to purchase something that helped to look at the different camera angles that we have here, and to make kind of a predictive in terms of when you're speaking, it should be on you, and it saved this team 20 hours per episode of having to go through and manually edit everything, and then they can kind of review and tweak it. And so it allows them to put those hours to use on other priorities at the university, which has been great. And so a kind of a high kind of return on investment. Tell us about the Lucy Family Institute and about its origins, about what you've been able to accomplish to date, and what you think the future holds.
I am, first of all, super grateful to Bob and Sarah Lumpkins. They are amazing couple. Beautiful people. Beautiful people, and kind and generous. And I've gotten to know them well, and they're also good mentors. I've asked them for advice. Hey, how do you think of this and that? So they're extremely kind and generous with their gift of, gift of sponsorship, but also the gift of their time. And it's Lucy family, because I think coming from Ireland, the grandmother's maiden name was Lucy, and the granddaughter is Lucy, who's same age as my daughter Naisha as well. And they had a chance to meet. So it's a delightful, connection of their family as Lucy Family Institute. And what I'm more grateful for is, I think these gifts are enablement of a platform, Lou. Mm-hmm. They allow us to ask questions, push the frontier and boundaries that would not be possible if you were to just wait for a research grant. Mm-hmm. Or, you apply, you review, and they say it's maybe too risky, or maybe it's something else. With these gifts, we can ask these deep, profound questions. Mm-hmm. We can bring amazing talent to Notre Dame together. So this gift is a platform. Mm-hmm. And things we have been able to do in the last 3 years. I mean, we started it in 2020, and it was, as an institute. So the director, Jasmine, joined me she was working with me for this at Center of Network and Data Science before. And it was in 21, we started recruiting. And what we did is we sort of said, okay, it's a COVID year.
Right.
Let's save the generosity of their benefaction. And when we come out of COVID year, we would use it to engage with our faculty. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of work that 1 year, just two of us. But then we have expanded and grown and gotten other grants, and we've been supported by Eli Lilly Endowment, by Accenture, gifts, large NSF grants, and other things. We have grown to over 30 people in 2 years. We had a dozen or so advancing our vision faculty lines allocated by Tom Burge. We fulfill each and every one of them across campus.
So you're excited about the talent, but not only faculty-wise, but postdocs, graduate students, undergraduate students?
Absolutely. There's an engagement across all the layers. And where I said why I'm so grateful for their gift, the folks we could recruit, they didn't quite apply for the disciplinary search. Mm-hmm. But then they applied to the search that we did as a cluster in collaboration, because we could tell them a story about, come to Notre Dame, where you use your I'm going to steal Pope Francis' words. Also, it wasn't there at that time. We were heart, hands, and head.
Right.
This is the right place. At force, gravitate. And my point to as we were interviewing them was, be a great scholar. There are many options.
Right.
Our peer universities.
Yeah.
Where be a great scholar and have a legacy, have an impact.
Right.
This is the place.
Yeah.
And we could tell that story because we had the institute, etc., and the gift. So this has been great. We have grown tremendously. And I also, Lou, want to acknowledge your team. Wow. I mean, it is, and I was speaking to your team as well, you all go out there, engage with the benefactors, engage and bring us this benefaction. And then you sort of parlay that gift to us and you go, and then you say, I'm going to support some other faculty. Mm. So we don't get these gifts because we are, it's you and your team, that enables these things, Lou. So thank you.
That's an incredibly kind and generous thing for you to say, but we'd be the biggest fools in the world if we took the credit for other people's generosity. So it's people out there, it's people watching these programs that are the ones that step up and sacrificially and voluntarily share so much with us. And like you, we get to be on the receiving end and feel inordinately blessed. What are some of the things that the Lucy Family Institute is working on right now that just has your blood percolating, that you're just like, wow, this is going to be a contribution. When people see this, it's going to make a huge impact.
Everything. Good. But I think, there's a couple of, initiatives, Lou, that are, when you think about it, blood percolating, it's a labor of love, blood, sweat, and tears. And we started this engagement project in Mexico a few years ago. It's with the Hospital Infantil Mexico Federico Gomez, largest pediatric cancer hospital. And we were there for some other discussion on food and nourishment, malnutrition, etc. And, we had done some work. It was a highly high-profile study we had published in collaboration with an organization in Sao Paulo, Brazil. We were translating that taking that to other Latin American countries. And as I was walking our host today was taking us to the hospital.
Yeah.
We were walking on that street called El Doctores Street, apparently one of the more dangerous streets in Mexico City. And I was told not to speak in Spanish because it's dangerous. Not to speak because I don't speak Spanish, sorry.
Right.
So don't open your mouth. Just keep nodding your head so we don't look like it. Went to there. And then as I was walking, we saw women and children sitting outside, waiting to see the house. And it bothered me that here I'm being told to be safe. And yet women and children are sitting outside, staring at the risk of kidnapping, trafficking. And we walked in, and that was bothering me. We stayed back, went back the next day. I said, okay, I know we came here for a different purpose, but we can't leave without understanding what's going on.
Right.
And that curiosity, I think, and that's the Notre Dame way,
right,
in my opinion. That curiosity of why are they outside? And we realized that the hospital in 2019, 2020 is all paper files. They have no way of knowing who's at risk. If a child presents themselves, they have to go to the basement, get the paper records. So they have no way of triaging risk. They have no way of knowing the social, contextual background, economic background, the child's presence, and they take care. So we worked with them over the last 3 years, Lou, to digitize, to create a platform. And we know hundreds of lives today are using it.
That's beautiful.
Right? They are, it's a meaningful thing.
Yeah.
Because that's what our translational impact of our research should be.
Right. And that's why we're here as a university, right? We're here to do research for the common good.
Yes.
To make a difference in those mothers and children that are waiting in the line at this pediatric cancer hospital outside in Mexico. That is real. That's tangible. That's impactful. And it's not abstract and theoretical.
It is not.
Yeah. So it's the fundamental research that gets us there. And then it's translating that. So kudos to you. What do you don't do this alone. The Lucy Family Institute, you have partners, other universities, you partner with industry. Give us a sense of some of the partners that you're working with and around what issues.
Yeah, I'll answer that, but I think something else you said, Lou, about it's a fundamental research and we do it. And I think what I would like to share is absolutely, because at the beginning you talked about IEEE, ACM, AAAI. They value fundamental research.
Yeah.
So we can get there.
Right.
And yet impact an individual life. Yet actually go out to the communities, make a difference. Both are possible. We can be a leading global Catholic university at par and distinct with the world's best universities. It's absolutely possible.
Yes.
And these are possible because of amazing collaborations that we have at Notre Dame. And folks don't realize it. Our departments may be smaller than other departments.
Right.
But it's a collective strength. And I think what John McGreevy and Father John have been talking about is thinking institutionally.
Right.
If we think institutionally and let it permeate through our beings, if we are altruistic,
right,
if we are inclusive in our research programs, and as an institute, folks think we have, how's Lucy doing? It's because we are just bring people along. We bring people together. That's the only way to tackle this problem with public health or climate change or sustainability, poverty, democracy, all the initiatives. No one is standing there and saying it could only be solved by a medical professional or a computer scientist or a democracy specialist or a economist. No, they all come together. If you're solving health inequities, I have to think about poverty.
Right.
I have to think about scale of these things. So how do we bring all of these factors together?
Right.
And that has been a joy, a gift.
So you're partnering with like Accenture on Health Equity Index. You're partnering with IBM on
AI Alliance. And so that's within the university now, externally facing.
Yeah.
We created this Health Equity Data Lab with a generosity of Accenture's gift. And that in the last 1 year has led to a movement where we are collaborating with organizations, whether it's Kroger, Ascension Health, CareSource, Mayo Clinic, Elevance, Walgreens, and I'm missing a few organizations.
Sure.
Oracle, IBM. I'm tackling these issues. Walmart.
Yeah.
We are also now part of this AI alliance with IBM, Meta, other organizations. And the idea of that alliance is let's be open. Let's not be a closed system, which is beautiful. Right?
Yeah.
And that's the place Notre Dame should be. We are also, generosity of Eli Lilly Endowment has been super generous to us and everyone else in the state of Indiana.
Yeah.
Where their gift is making us work with, allowing us to work with small, mid-sized enterprises in South Bend, Elkhart. If we don't partner with them and our focus on local South Bend is so timely, with automation AI that happens, what do you think will happen to our manufacturing companies who don't have access to those machining technology or even the talent?
Yeah.
This is our home. This is our community.
That's right.
We have to uplift it together.
Yeah.
These are the things that we are doing in partnership with our talent. And we actually have created a program where our local partners, their team or the employees could come to our lab at Lucy, spend a day a week. We're calling them Raise Up Fellows. Don't ask me what Raise Up stands for. It's a great acronym, but I can't spell it out right now. But we're calling them Raise Up Fellows to come. It's a collective partnership.
Well, I just want to tell you, Nitesh, on behalf of all of us at Notre Dame, we're inordinately blessed by your leadership, by your commitment to our students, to the faculty and the team that you've been able to build around the Lucy Family Institute, through your unbounded energy and entrepreneurship. And I know you've spun off a number of companies that you're involved with, including Analytics that you mentioned. And yet you always have the focus on impact, how we can be a force for good in the world. And so you embody beautifully, I think, every dimension of what Father Soren envisioned when he founded this university in 1842. So thank you for your leadership. We always close these sessions and invite all of our viewers, wherever they come from, to join us in a Hail Mary, a prayer to Our Lady, upon whom this university was founded and continues to be animated every day. So together, please join us in Hail Mary, full of grace. The Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Thank you for being with us once again. Thank you, Nitesh. Take care, God bless, and go Irish.
Thank you for listening to this episode of For Good, Stories from Notre Dame, where we explore the remarkable impact of Our Lady's University. In this series of conversations, we offer a behind-the-scenes glimpse into life under the Golden Dome and discuss the innovative, diverse, and powerful ways that Notre Dame strives to be a force for good in the world. You can find upcoming and previous episodes on our YouTube channel, ND Loyal, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Join us next time as we continue to uncover how Notre Dame is impacting the world for good, one story at a time.